Welcome to sportsbookraeview.com. It's La Liga, it's week 17, and we're having some joy in La Liga, unlike the Premier League. We're loving the Bundesliga. I've got Roman with me and I've got Martin with me. But first of all, if you like this video, then please subscribe, press the button and ring the bell. Ring the bell means we'll notify you and you'll never miss any content again. And in a couple of weeks, we'll be back to the normal schedule. You'll be able to plan ahead. And also, if you press the link in the description, that'll take you over to the articles wrote by Martin or Tan or Alex with parlays and a little bit more meat on the bone. I've got Martin. Was that you, Martin, leaving the sound on? The veteran of over 1,000 shows.
Yeah, I was trying to get the YouTube up so that I could interact with our lovely viewers.
There's no excuses. And if it is your first time, then please subscribe, but come into the chat, say hello. If you've got any questions, then throw them at us, because obviously we need your input as well. If you've got leans, then put them out. I'll ask Roman and Martin, and then we'll be well on our way. It's really hotting up, to be fair, in La Liga. We've got Atletico Madrid blazing a trail. All right, they're level on points, but they've got them 2 games in hand. And Real Madrid do what Real Madrid do. They go strong after Christmas, and there, for me, they are still the favourites. Roman, a busy Christmas period leading up to Christmas. Now it's deliver.
Yeah, it's definitely a very busy time now for football. Also in La Liga, lots of games coming up. Important ones, of course, because we're halfway basically through the competition. And now it's where the teams, have to establish themselves in the positions, because we know that the standings are all like muddled up. It's very tight between those fighting for Europe and those fighting for relegation. Any slip up can make you go from one side to the other of the standings. So it's important for the teams to start getting the wins, to start marking their territory, because it's going to be a long competition. There's so many games coming up one after the other.
Martin, I like these teams that are just throwing caution to the wind. They're just going to go out. The 2 that spring to mind are Granada, because we know that they're starting to turn a corner with green shoots. We said we're leaving for a couple of weeks. And Levante, who yesterday put 4 past Betis.
Yeah, well, I've got both teams to score in the Granada versus Valencia game. I broke my cardinal rule not to bet on Valencia for one night only. So I'm just hoping that Valencia can pull one back at some point in the game. I loved that Levante game yesterday. What a brace from Morales. Those 2 volleys were sensational. That was just pure entertainment. I'm not sure they'll fare quite so well against Villarreal, who are a bit more organised at the back. But yeah, looking forward to this round of fixtures. I think there's some appealing games in there.
Yeah, there is. I mean, Levante are like Jekyll and Hyde in the same game. Going forward, they're absolutely brilliant. When confidence is flowing, they're going to score goals. But the problem is, They just don't close the back door, so they can be countered. I think Villarreal. That's our first game. I want to come to you first, Roman, because I've got Villarreal at minus 150, which looks appealing if you're going to stick it in a parlay. Draw plus 300, and Levante at plus 480. I think both teams score and over 2.5 goals in this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I have to agree with you here. I think there'll be goals. We saw what Levante can do against Real Betis. That 4-3 result was pretty amazing, so they can definitely score. As a matter of fact, in most of the games, of the last 10 games, they've only had 1 defeat, and except for that defeat, they've scored in every other single game. So, I mean, Levante are a team that tend to go forward, like to go forward, as you said. Not so much defending. That's where Villarreal, can come in. They had this great streak where they hadn't lost in the last 19 games. They finally lost against Sevilla, very difficult side. But, they had their opportunities. They were still dangerous. I think Villarreal had more control of the ball, but Sevilla were just very, very strong in those counterattacks and got those needed goals. But I think here Villarreal should get the win. They're the better side overall. They have the better team. They just signed today Capoue, who used to play in the Premier League for Watford, if I'm not mistaken. And now he could be an important signing for them in that midfield. I don't know if he'll be available to play straight away, but he's there in that team. So I think overall Villarreal, despite Levante's great effort against Real Betis, should get the win. And I do think that we should see goals from both teams.
Okay, Raymond Reddington saying, don't complicate it. Villarreal, straight win. I tell you what, though, you can get a bit more value. You can just go Villarreal, team total, over 1.5. Villarreal and over 1.5. Villarreal and both teams to score. Or you just go with goals, mine.
Yeah, Levante are on a good run of form, though, aren't they? Just beat Real Betis 4-3, and they were 4-1 up before they got.
Yeah, they took their foot off the gas. They were it's like a
and they're sending off also.
Yeah, it was the red card that sort of I think it opened the floodgates a bit towards the end. But yeah, I'm a bit concerned about betting against them right now. I think they're playing pretty well going forwards. This is the Levante that we saw in the summer to the second half of last season. They were throwing caution to the wind and they were involved in lots of exciting, high-scoring games. I'd be looking at both teams to score probably in this one. Capoue could be a good signing for Villarreal. I guess they never really replaced Anguissa, who's doing pretty well for Fulham this season now that he's back.
Yeah, really well.
Not sure if he'll be ready, like Roman says, for this one. But yeah, you would expect Villarreal to win. But I prefer to go down the both teams to score route just because of the way that Levante have been playing, and I think Villarreal will get back to scoring ways and potentially to winning ways in this one. Should be a good game.
Yeah, over a team total over 1.5. I see him scoring twice. Rampage is up to his normal tricks again in the chat. He's saying 0-0 Granada versus Valencia. Well, obviously we're filming this while this game's going on. I'm sure that Granada will 1-0 up when I left. Okay, yeah. So listen, I think it's a classic game. It is a game to watch. I see goals and I see value in Villarreal. Okay, next game. I'm going to come to you first, Martin. Betis plus 280, draw plus 250. Sevilla at plus 110. If Sevilla score first, this game is over because Betis will just overcommit and Sevilla will just sit back and pick them off.
Yeah, well, it was the very first game in La Liga after the lockdown last season. It was this derby, big derby. And I was expecting a big performance from Betis because all eyes were going to be on them. And they just didn't turn up. They got absolutely murdered by Sevilla, who were just far too composed on the ball and far too technically astute for them. I reckon we'll see a similar type of game when they play next time out. It's not looking particularly good for Betis, is it? They were 4-1 down against Levante and only got back into it when they were playing against 10 men. They just seem so disorganised at the back, and a team like Sevilla should be composed and strong enough to pick them off. I thought Ocampos was the real difference against Villarreal. That through ball that he slotted for En-Nesyri to wrap it up and make it 2-0 was just fantastic. And I think that sort of play will be good enough to unlock Betis time and time again in this game. Don't really understand why the odds are so attractive on Sevilla. They don't have far to travel. It's a big derby for them. So I think going for the away win looks very appealing at plus 110.
Yeah, very appealing at plus 110, and that is one you just don't complicate because they could win this 1-0 and just take it easy. Just to let you know, the Granada goal, VAR got involved, Martin, and no goal. Gamero just scored for Valencia though, so you've got to be happy with that.
I just need
Granada
to score. Come on, guys, yes.
The first time he jumps back on that Valencia train. Roman, Sevilla away at Betis. Betis, come on now. When are they going to actually knuckle down and just put a disciplined performance in? Because at the moment, they're all over the shop.
I just get the feeling that as long as they keep playing with the defense they have, I mean, it's going to be really hard for them because defensively, we mentioned this at the beginning of the season, their team isn't good. So in this winter market, they really need some signings. They really need some good players at the back to be capable of helping them actually win games because they're conceding way too much. And it's true they've recovered Sergio Canales. He was great yesterday, right after his injury. He scored 2 goals. He's going to be important. With him, the team can do better. He can organize that midfield, which was something that the team was really needing. And hopefully Pellegrini will find a way for them to work better. But I don't think the winning ways are going to begin against Sevilla. It's true it's a derby. It's true it's a game where there's a lot of passion. There's a lot of intensity. It could go in a way in the sense that it is a derby. But at the moment, logic says that Sevilla have to win the game. They have the better side. They're a confident team. They've won the last 3 derbies against Betis, as a matter of fact. And I don't think that's going to change now because Betis aren't better than they were before. They're probably the same or worse. So this looks like a pretty logical Sevilla win, and I think it's a good bet to go for them, not complicate things. And I also think there could be goals in this one because usually derbies, bring that emotion, as I said before, and we could maybe see both teams scoring.
Wow, okay, so maybe Sevilla to win and both teams to score, especially if Sevilla go 3 up. We like that. Roman, Diego Costa, we know he's leaving Atletico. Do we know where he's going yet? Is there any rumours?
We don't know at the moment. It was rumored that maybe Sevilla, because of course they need a striker, but apparently they said that he has a clause with Atletico Madrid in which they would have to pay Atletico, I think it's around 15 million euros if he goes either to Madrid, Barcelona or Sevilla. So it might be a bit more complicated that he ends up there, but we'll see. It's still soon and we'll have to find out where he goes, but he's could definitely be a very important player for some clubs that are looking for attacking power.
Do we think he stays in La Liga?
Honestly, I think he would like to stay because, it's a league he knows pretty well, but maybe there could be attractive in going back to the Premier League if a good offer comes up. I don't know. It really depends on what teams are willing to spend on him and pay his salary and all that.
So if he goes to like say Wolves in the Premier League, do they get him free or have they got to pay the 15 million?
I think that clause only applies for the big clubs, which are Barca, Madrid and Sevilla, which of course are the main teams that are competing for this competition with Atletico Madrid, so they don't really want to give a free guy to their rivals like Barca kind of did with Luis Suarez. So they're trying to avoid that basically. So I don't think they'd have to pay in the other case because they terminated the contract with Atletico.
Yes, weird that they terminate the contract and still have some sort of hold over him. Maybe the mighty Saints might just give him a nice little sunniest place in England so he can go and enjoy with a bit of sunshine on his back. Okay, I've got a theory about this next game, Roman. It's Getafe plus 100, draw plus 225, Valladolid at plus 335. Now, we know that Getafe are going to go and play in Madrid against Atletico. Do you think they'll have one eye on this game with Valladolid and say, okay, we're not expecting to get anything in Madrid, but back home against Valladolid, we've got to make sure we pick up the 3 points?
Is that because you want your bet to go through against?
Yeah, well, obviously, I've done a parlay. I've done Atletico Madrid and over 1.5, and Liverpool to win and under 4.5. So if there's any questions in the chat, I've just given you my thoughts on both of them games. But no, that was half the reason I actually went with Atletico and over 1.5, thinking Getafe, not the biggest squad in the world, know that they've got to pick up 3 points at home to Valladolid.
Makes absolute sense. I actually do think that's a possibility because we all know that this isn't the Getafe we've been used to seeing the last few years. A very solid, very strong team in the top mid-table positions. At the moment, it's quite the opposite, and they're struggling a lot. And I do think the game against Valladolid is a must-win for them, especially playing at home, even though there are no fans. You want to win your home ground, especially against a team which is fighting with you in those bottom positions. So honestly, I got a feeling that Getafe could get something out of this. It also might be a draw, which is another very common result for a team like Getafe or Valladolid. That's something we could also look into. But I do think Getafe are the slight favourites, independently of what happens at Atletico Madrid, because they will try and get something, obviously, but they know that Atletico is not their main rival. It's Valladolid and other teams in similar positions.
Yeah, Martin, plus 100 for Getafe at home to Valladolid. It's an unders. So does that mean Getafe win to 0? Both teams to score no?
I think there's value on Getafe. I second everything that Roman said there. The thing that makes it a bit complicated is that Valladolid will have had an extra day of rest. And we know that Getafe don't really fare well when they have a high volume of games in a short space of time with their small and ageing squad. We saw it towards the end of last season. But having said that, I think they can beat Valladolid in this game. Even with a shorter preparation, a shorter turnaround, they're at home. It would make sense to rest a couple of players against Atletico and go for it against Valladolid in the next game. They're pretty good at home, not so much this season, but over the past few years, they've been solid at home. And Valladolid don't travel well at all. Very poor on the road so far this season. Very few goals scored. And that could play right into Getafe's hands, the way they like to control the game, defend tight, and nick the odd goal going forward. So I do think there's a lot of value on Getafe to win, and the price might get more attractive over the next day or two, depending on how the result goes tonight. So a bit difficult without seeing the Atletico game, but yeah, I'm going for Getafe as things stand.
Yeah, I can't put anyone off of that because I think that they're definitely going to want to get 3 points against it. It's almost a 6-pointer at Christmas. Unbelievable. Next game could be a trap, could be a banana skin. Underestimate the visitors at your peril. It's Madrid minus 205, draw plus 400, and Celta at plus 600. Martin, Celta, they only go one way, strength to strength, movement. But the big problem I have in this game is the smaller players up against the big athletic units of Real Madrid.
Yeah, obviously, Real Madrid are the favourites. They're on a fantastic run of form. We haven't seen how they're going to get on in their next game yet. But I understand why they're the favourites. I think they have done really well at keeping things tight at the back since Ramos came back to play alongside Varane. They've been very solid. But I fancy Celta Vigo to get on the score sheet in this one. They've been terrific since they got a new manager. He's really unlocked the potential of that forward line, and they've just been banging in goals. Iago Aspas has been brilliant. So I think both teams will score. I definitely think Celta Vigo will concede. So both teams to score is a good one. You can combine both teams to score with Real Madrid draw double chance. And I think I got plus 110 on that, which is...
Wow, where have you been digging these out from? So what about just Madrid to win and both teams to score would be even bigger. But obviously, Madrid double chance and both teams to score at plus 110, Roman.
I mean, that's definitely a good deal, but I kind of feel like Madrid might slip here. I don't know. I mean, Celta, as Martin said, are looking really good. They're a fantastic offensive side. And as we said before, I think Madrid in these kind of games, they kind of tend to relax a little bit too much, maybe. And I think Celta do have a chance. It's also important to keep in mind how things go in a game that Celta still has to play against Huesca. If there are any injuries, if there are any setbacks, that could maybe cause a problem for Celta in that game against Madrid. But if everything goes smoothly, I think they might actually have a chance because offensively they just look fantastic. And I agree with Martin on the both teams to score. That definitely should pay out. Both have really offensive talents in attack, and I'm expecting goals in this one for sure.
Wow. You've dug that from like the deepest depths, Martin. I reckon that might be the bet that you've come up with so far since August. Madrid, double chance and both teams to score at plus 110. Okay, let's move on. Roman, Athletic Club, minus 185, draw plus 300, and Elche at plus 725. Now, you know my thoughts on Athletic Club, but they're flat track bullies. This is a game that they'll go out and they will look like they're Champions League material.
That's very possible. I mean, I think Athletic are definitely the favourites for this game against Elche. We gave credit to Elche at the beginning. They had good results. They had good games, but I think they're starting to struggle a bit. Athletic, on the other hand, are starting to find their form a bit more. So I think the logical result here would be for Athletic to win. It also depends, as I said with the previous game, this one also depends on the match day against Real Sociedad. That's also a very important derby here in Spain. That's an intense match. I'm worried that Athletic might get physically drained in this game and won't be at their best for Elche. But Elche at the same time aren't really a scary side. They're not great in attack. And I think that Athletic at home should be capable of getting a win.
Yeah, I look at Elche and I think squad's about this big. Athletic Club, squad's this big. I see Athletic Club winning 2-0, to be honest, Martin, and they're telling me that Granada have equalised, so you're both teams to score. Granada, Valencia has cashed.
That's it. I'm betting on Valencia again. They're back. Yeah, I also think that Athletic Club will win this one. It's good to find a team that, they started well. I think they still had the momentum from getting promoted. They were quite confident, but they're really running out of steam. And I expect them to keep losing. I think they'll finish bottom of the table. And it's good to find a team like that and just oppose them every week. Just keep betting against them. Hopefully we'll make some money on opposing Elche. I'm certainly doing it this week, and I'm going to hopefully keep on doing it as they hopefully keep on losing. Like you say, flat track bullies, Athletic Club, they do struggle from time to time, but they've got enough quality within their team to go and beat a side like Elche convincingly. Obviously, the big Basque Country derby could take it out of them, so they could be a bit tired after playing Real Sociedad, but I still think they'll turn up here and win the game.
There's a question in the chat, sorry.
I'm just about to throw it at you, Roman. If you could answer that would be great. Dennis says, guys, why can't Athletic Club just buy a proper striker? Do you want to give Dennis the transfer policy of Athletic Club, please, Roman?
I mean, they're dying to have a good striker, but of course they can't because they can only sign or play with Basque players. So basically their main signing prospect is the lower team, so they can't really go out and search in the Spanish market or search in the international market because they're not allowed. They have a very strict policy, and it doesn't allow them to sign players which aren't Basque. So that really limits. And it also shows that Bilbao have a lot of credit for being where they are. They've never actually gone down in the history of their club to Segunda División, one of the few teams with Barça and Madrid. And that's really amazing, taking into account this strict policy they have. Yeah,
and listen, there you go. Villa Libra. That's why he gets played, because they can't go and play anybody else. Basically. It's just one of those. But I see them beating Elche, and I wrote here, win to 0, and it might just be the 85th minute, and when they get their first or their second goal. Let's move on. Alaves plus 550, draw plus 290, and Atletico at minus 175. Roman, minus 175 looks like you could put that in a parlay with, say, if you fancied Madrid at minus 205 and Villarreal at minus 50. There's a 3-team parlay there.
I'd definitely go for that. I mean, I think it should be a straightforward win for Alaves. It's true that they beat Madrid. Alaves can be dangerous at times, but I don't think they're going to beat Atletico de Madrid at the moment. They're still, finding their way through those mid-table bottom positions. They have improved, that's for sure, since the beginning of the season. Machín is finally finding a team that is giving good results, but Atletico Madrid are way superior. And despite losing Diego Costa, they still have quality players in that team, and they shouldn't have a problem to beat Alaves. So I think putting that in a parlay could make a lot of sense, yeah.
Yeah, Atletico are going to... I don't even want to tempt fate that they do it today, but they are going to slip up at some stage. They're going to be in the woodwork. There's going to have that day where they're frustrated, can't score, and the opposition get that like breakaway winner, run against the play winner. Is it going to happen against Alaves? Because we know Alaves, on their day, they can surprise anybody, Martin.
Well, that is always the risk with betting on Atletico, isn't it? That they do draw too many games. But I agree. I think they'll win this one. They've got a big squad, and they've got a good squad. They've got 2 good players in every position, so he can rotate his side when he's having a high volume of games. Whereas Alaves don't have that luxury. So I think they'll be able to freshen up the team, bring a few new, fresh pairs of legs, and just do what they do best, which is overrun Alaves, dominate the ball, control the midfield, keep things tight at the back, and nick a couple of goals going forward. Obviously, Cholo Simeone's happy with the attacking options he's got, if he's happy to rip up Diego Costa's contract. So, he obviously feels he's got the firepower to go and win the title, and it's up to them to prove it now, starting against Alaves.
I wonder if he's got a little trick up his sleeve and he's got someone lined up to replace him. So, I mean, just watch this space. Let's move on. Eibar plus 160, Martin. Draw plus 225. And Granada at plus 200. Now, Eibar, we said, they love to upset the odds at big prices. They go to the Camp Nou and they get a draw. Now they go at home to Granada, who we know are improving every single week. Do we think that Granada's plus 200 is too big? Or do we not split them and go for the draw?
I think the odds on Granada look really good, to be honest. Eibar have been good at home in previous seasons with their small stadium. They've got a passionate crowd. It seems to get them fired up. But, it's not worked out for them, obviously, this time with the empty arenas. They have the worst home record in La Liga. 4 draws, 4 defeats from 8 games. Only scored twice in 8 home games. So it's good that the fans aren't going to see that because they want their money back. I think Granada are improving. They're not great on the road, but I think they can definitely go there and get a result. I haven't included it in my list of tips because I wanted to see how my bet on both teams to score with Valencia got on, but it seems like they're doing pretty well. They were playing well before the show started when I was watching it anyway. Yeah. And I really think Granada draw no bet would be a good option in this one. Maybe even double chance. When you see that there's plus 200 on a Granada win, I think they can go and get a result. I wouldn't read too much into that draw for Eibar against Barcelona because they're so poor at home.
Yeah, I mean, draw no bet's going to be what, around 130, plus 130, plus 125? Roman, do you see Granada going to Eibar and getting a result?
I do. I certainly do. I mean, as Martin said, this season Eibar at home are very poor. I think that game against Barcelona was a bit tricky. I mean, Barca could have perfectly won that game. They missed a penalty. They had some really good opportunities, and they made a mess of the only goal they conceded, which was a defensive mistake by Araujo. So I think that was quite unfortunate. It's true that in the first half, Eibar, were going for their chances. They were countering quite a lot. In the second half, once they got the goal, even after the draw, they just decided to close the lines and just kind of hold the result. And in the end, they managed. But it wasn't a spectacular game from them. So I do think that Granada have the ability, have the quality to beat Eibar away from home. And they should be capable of getting a result, in my opinion, despite the fact that Eibar, of course, are in pretty good form. They're doing much better than at the beginning of the season. They are a dangerous team, but I just see Granada superior, and now with no Europa League games in between, they have more time to focus on this competition.
No, without a doubt. I think that's probably been their Achilles heel. Granada, small squad, being having to be spread across weekend, Thursday, and especially when they did 6 weeks in a row. Next game, I like this game a lot. And I like Sociedad to give these an absolute beating. It's Sociedad minus 160 Roman, draw plus 300. Osasuna plus 550. Osasuna read Levante. They try and score, but they cannot defend for love nor money. Sociedad minus 1.5 on the Asian handicap. I've taken it.
I mean, Osasuna were a team that used to be able to defend, but now they don't even have that. So that's definitely something they're feeling, this season. That's why they're towards the bottom in front of Huesca, and they're struggling a lot. And logic says again that Real Sociedad should and must win this game, because they haven't won in the last 9 games without knowing what's going to happen in the next game against Athletic. They haven't won in the last 9 in all competitions. Let me point that out, of course. So that isn't good for them. They need to get back on track. They need to get a good result. And Osasuna also haven't won in the last 8 games, pending on tomorrow's game. So I mean, it's both sides are desperate for a win. Osasuna, of course, are fighting, trying to get out of those bottom positions. But I just don't think they have the firepower. They don't have the defensive quality to beat a team like Real Sociedad. So it looks like Real should get back on track in this game if they don't manage to get back on track in the game they have this match day against Athletic.
Mine, it's 2-0, 3-1 for me. And Bobby has a question in there. It's the Bills all the way, Bobby. Sorry, Martin.
Yeah, well, I'm on Real Sociedad to get a result against Athletic Club. I think I went draw no bet on them in the big derby, two big rivals there. I think obviously we spoke about Athletic Club's policy of signing only Basque players. They're not strung by such a policy at Sociedad, and they've signed some very good players. It's just a question of injuries, I think, which has really derailed the impressive momentum that they built up in the opening weeks of the season. Soon as Oyarzabal comes back and David Silva's pulling the strings, I expect them to start firing on all cylinders again. I really want to see the starting lineup that plays against Athletic Club tomorrow. But I still think, regardless, they can go on and win this game. It's a comfortable home game against the side that have been very unimpressive every time I've seen them in recent weeks. So, yeah, I'm looking at a double, Athletic Club and Real Sociedad both to win.
Well, there you go. So maybe Sociedad at minus 160. You've got Madrid at plus 205. And we've got Atletico at minus 175. Villarreal. There might be a 5-team parlay, 4 or 5 team. We'll have a little look at it at the end. Martin, Huesca plus 650. Draw plus 400. And Barcelona at minus 215. Could you have Barcelona on your mind at the moment? This looks like an unders.
Oh, I've had enough of Barcelona. What is wrong with that team? Oh, I thought they would. I thought they would actually do well without Lionel Messi. I know he's their best player. He's the best player in the world. But I just thought they've been doing quite well without him. Griezmann's been flourishing in that space, and you have Dembele cutting in from the wing. But it didn't work. It was turgid. They did get a little bit unlucky. They probably should have won the game. But you have to be beating a team like Eibar if you're going to challenge for the title. They're a long way off. And at those odds, at minus 215, I don't like the look of that against the Huesca side that draw far too many games. I thought they could go and beat Eibar half-time, full-time, and they didn't. So I'm staying well away from this one.
Yeah, Roman, that's what the angle I was going to go here was draw half-time, Huesca to keep it tight, frustrate, and Barcelona not to come out the traps.
I mean, I'm not sure I could trust Barcelona either with this kind of bet, to be honest. Let's keep in mind Messi should be back, so that's important definitely for Barcelona. A lot of people have said that Barca play better without Messi, but we just saw that's not a fact. That's not true. I mean, Messi is still the best, and he's going to be really important for this game. As a matter of fact, I got a Christmas gift, which is this book here, which is about Leo Messi. I don't know if you can see it very well.
Yeah.
It says Leo Messi, el tesoro del Barça, which is Leo Messi, Barca's treasure. And he really is Barca's treasure. I mean, without him, we just tend to struggle so much. And I actually think that he will be key in this game. But of course, we know that Huesca are the draw kings. You know, they're capable of doing important things at home. They've gotten good results against, for example, Atletico de Madrid, where they locked them out. They didn't allow them to score any goals. So, of course, it can be dangerous. And also, Barca are losing Coutinho, who's injured. He's going to miss about 4 months of competition. They said that's the first prediction. We'll see how that goes. Quite unfortunate for him. But at the same time, I think it's good for Barcelona because, honestly, Coutinho is just looking absolutely terrible. Nothing to do with the guy that we signed from Liverpool. So I just don't really know if I'd bet on this game. I just don't know where it's going to go. I think Barca in the end should get the win, but Huesca are dangerous at home. They can defend well. And as you said, it might be 0-0 half-time, but Barca could easily score at any moment with Messi on the field, so I'm not so confident at the moment about that.
Okay, Andreas saying, Huesca double chance at 280. Yeah, I think you leave it alone, and if you are going to do it, just do the draw half-time or under 1.5 goals first half, something like that, because you're trying to get value. Last game, Valencia at plus 100. Martin's favourite team. I'm going to come to you again, Martin, and leave the final word to Roman. Draw plus 270, and Cadiz at plus 300. You know what you're getting from Cadiz? Valencia, will they get... Obviously, we have to see how they go against Granada, but we've got to see Valencia turning up sooner or later.
Yeah, you know what you're going to get from Cadiz, and it's not going to be great. It's not going to be much fun to watch. They lost to 0 against Real Betis, lost to 0 against Getafe, drew 0-0 with Valladolid last time out. That's the clear issue there, a lack of goals in the squad. I thought they would fare better than this in the top flight, but not really working out for them at the moment. Lack of creativity going forward. So this does look like a game that Valencia can win, but I'm not really prepared to bet on Valencia to win outright. I do like betting on Valencia, both teams to score now, as it's just come in against Granada. But I'm not going to be betting on the outright, even though you can get even money on a home win, which looks great. I still fear that there's just too many gaps in this Valencia starting 11 due to all the big players that they sold that they haven't replaced. It means that they can get goals in big games, but I'm never really confident in them to close out wins when they're lacking so much in midfield. So, pass.
Okay, well, just to let everybody know, if next show will be Serie A. Next Monday, we have a Serie A midweek show, and that will be on Monday, 08:30 Eastern Time. Now then, let's have a little look at the... no, hang on a minute. Valencia Cadiz, please, Roman. Sorry about that, mate.
No worries. I have to say here that I'm a bit disappointed with Cadiz. We've all seen it's a similar trajectory, I'd say, to Elche. It started pretty well. They even started better than Elche, I'd say. Cadiz were looking great, and now lately they're starting to struggle a bit. They're not doing as well as they were doing before. And I think Valencia actually have a very good chance of getting a win here. It's true, as Martin says, they're missing a lot of important players. They're going through a lot of troubled times, but Valencia at home, I think, can be quite reliable, despite that there are no fans, and I think they have the better squad. They have the quality to get a win, I think, ahead of Cadiz. So for me, I think Valencia are the clear favourites in this one.
Okay, let's have a little look, please, Fab, at the this week's picks. Let's have a little look and see what we got. Martin's been digging. Sevilla for Martin at plus 106. Getafe minus 110. Madrid double chance and both teams to score at plus 105. Unbelievable. Love that. Atletico to win and under 4.5 goals at minus 129. And he's gone with a little mini parlay. Athletic Club and Sociedad at plus 142. Roman's picks. Not complicating these. Sevilla at plus 110. Atletico minus 175. And Madrid, both teams to score, minus 113. Doesn't care who wins. Mine, Sevilla at plus 110. Sociedad to win and over 1.5 goals is my banker. I see them winning at least by 2, minus 110. And Villarreal, I've got the Alex Classic at plus 110 against the free scoring Levante. I expect them to get one. They could still get beat 3 or 4. 2-team parlay. Who are we going to stick in? First of all, please, Roman.
Well, I'd go for the Sevilla game. It's a derby, but I mean, we know how Betis are doing lately. They're struggling a lot. Sevilla, on the other hand, are looking way better. They're a stronger team, and they should be capable of getting their 4th win in a row in a game against Betis in La Liga.
Yeah, happy. Obviously, always happy to go against Betis. Sevilla plus 110 gets us off to a great start. Martin, give us the other winner, please.
I'm going to have to go Atletico away at Alaves. Should be too strong for them. Too good a squad at this time of season.
Okay, I just don't like having Atletico keep winning, especially when Madrid have got to chase them down. But first of all, everyone in the chat, please press your thumbs up for a little bit of appreciation of both Roman and Martin. It goes a long way. It means a lot. But also, please, if you've not subscribed, then subscribe. Press the button, ring the bell. Ring the bell means that we can notify you and you'll never miss any content again. And as I said earlier, Serie A up next Monday, 8:30 Eastern time. It'll be a really, really good show because Serie A have got that midweek card and there's some absolute crackers looking ahead. Also, you press the link in the description. It will take you over to the article. Do that. Listen, you're not working at the moment. Go and have a good read of either Martin, Tan or Alex's views. And while you're there, have a flick around and have a little look at some of the other sports because we are in bowl season. We're just about to go into the playoffs in the NFL and the NBA is kicking off as well. So you've got absolutely everything you want, not to mention the NCAA is in full swing. So thank you very much, Roman. Always love your company. Martin, not so much, but obviously I have to put up with it. It's almost like a marriage for the last 30 years. And everyone in the chat, thank you very much for everything that you do. Have a great New Year's Eve. Stay safe, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Take care.